Hey YouTube, Xander Frank here. Today doing another episode of Friday follow up from your viewer comments of Hobby Talk Tuesday. Um, there's a got quite a few comments on this week's episode. It was about will collectible cards um, suffer the same fate as physical media? And you guys brought up a lot of great points, and let's go ahead and talk about them. So we turn it over to Mr. Robart, who gets our Friday follow up started off.
Friday follow-up from Hobby Talk Tuesday episode 31. Will collectible cards suffer the same fate as physical media?
Alright, so this was actually episode 33, Mr. Robart. You keep messing up that. Alright, so let's see, our first question.
Kevin Gunderson writes, the younger generation was priced out of the market years ago, and card collecting has been a niche hobby since. I think the hobby isn't going anywhere, but the digital NFT side will be growing.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Those are actually some really good points. I have to agree. When I was a kid, this might be saying how old I am, and saying that I'm out of touch with the younger generation. But when I was a kid, I could go down to the gas station in my town and buy a pack of baseball cards for 25 cents. I know, that sounds crazy. But all of the kids my age, all the boys my age, we all collected baseball cards. So I definitely don't see that happening now. I know there are some kids that are able to enjoy the hobby, but it wasn't like it was back then when I was a kid. Like everyone did it. Now it's a few here and there. I mean, there's so many awesome hobbies that kids can get into. There are some that enjoy sports cards, and some of them are really good at it, and are great at flipping cards even, which was not a thing that we did when we were kids with cards. But yeah, I mean, it's not cheap. You go down to the hobby shop. I mean, you can't go to the gas station and buy baseball cards now. You have to go to like stores like Target, and we know how that's gone with sports cards, or hobby shops. And the hobby shops is like $4 or $5 for just one pack of cards. So yeah, I think you got a good point there. So digital card collecting might be better for this next generation. Yes, I also agree that the hobby isn't going anywhere. It's just too huge. There's too many people that collect cards, whether it be Pokemon cards, Star Wars cards, baseball, football, basketball. It's and the market is actually, the hobby is actually growing quite a bit internationally, I think, especially with soccer cards and stuff like that, and Pokemon. So card collecting is just as strong, but you have to admit that the NFT, the rise of the NFT, we're seeing it right now, and I really, we just gotta see what Fanatics has in store, because I think they may be a lot more focused on NFT stuff than card making. But great comments. Okay, our next one.
Absoluteness writes, all the things you mentioned that have been replaced are forms of media. Cards aren't a form of media, they are collectible art pieces. Cards aren't going anywhere.
All right, thank you, Absoluteness. And yeah, you're right. The things I showed, I think it was a CD, that is a form of media, and DVDs and stuff like that. Video games. Video games is kind of on the border, because there's a lot of people that collect video games and grade video games. So I think you're very right, but also you cannot ignore that digital cards are rising up, and you know, in my collecting habits, I like the actual physical cards, and yes, I consider them art pieces. It sounds crazy calling them art pieces, but um, they're displayable. I mean, look how nice graded cards look in the slabs. They're very displayable, and you enjoy looking at them like you would like a piece of art. But guys, like even like art, they're selling NFTs is just not sports cards. NFTs are considered forms of art. People buying NFT and that like they own that piece of art of NFT, and that same technology is being used in trading cards, where you will own that certain card, and it's uniqueness like a physical card. It's hard to explain, but NFTs are um, they're not going away, guys, and I don't think card collecting is going away either. But it's going to get more crowded in this collectible market, that's for sure. But definitely going to be interesting to see how things play out. Okay, next comment.
Seahawk writes, too bad gotta say it, but everything sport card wise might be coming to an end. What a shame.
Okay, thank you for your comment, Seahawk. Um, I don't think everything sports card wise is coming to an end. There's going to be plenty of people that collect sports cards. I'm not saying that they're all going to start collecting digital stuff. So the hobbies of sports cars is going to go on forever. I do think, though, that the creation of new sports cards might be in a little bit of jeopardy, just because I don't know what the motivation here completely is of Fanatics. Are they going to totally focus their licenses on doing NFTs and digital cards, or will they try to print sports cards? And you know, as it stands right now, you're not going to have Topps baseball cards after next year. I mean, so yeah, in some ways, some things are coming to an end. I hate that because I love Topps and their history and their legacy. But if Fanatics does not buy Topps and have Topps continue making baseball cards, we're not going to see Topps baseball cards anymore. That's just they can't make cards if they don't have the licenses to make them. And right now, Fanatics has it, so the ball's in their court. All right, next comment.
Dad Dog writes, I don't think so. Physical, i.e. owning the actual thing, will always take precedent. I more foresee something like we have in movies nowadays, where you buy and get two copies, one digital and one physical at same time.
Okay, I know you have more in your comment, but let's talk about this part of it. I think it's going to be a generational thing. The generation that is in the hobbies right now, yes, like me, I always will consider physical cards the precedent, and that's what I would always prefer. But say kids 10 years from now, are they going to care about physical baseball cards? Are they going to care about that as much? Maybe they might enjoy, you know, graded cards or whatever from the past, but I don't know if they'll buying baseball cards is going to be a thing 10 years from now. Like new cards. I'm not talking about old cards and collectible cards like this. I'm talking about new cards. Is that going to be it's just tough to foresee what's going to happen. But one thing we know for sure is things are not going to become less digitized than they are now. That's only going to get more and more. And 10 years from now, 2 years from now, we might not be able to buy a pack of baseball cards in 2023 unless Fanatics decides we're going to create a baseball card. And who knows how those will look. Will they even look cool? Will they be terrible? that's why I really hope they buy Topps, because Topps knows how to make baseball cards and they can just continue to do it. But very scary. But very scary, but also not scary because um, things go away in time. And I hate even talking about this because I know some people get nervous when they hear things change. People hate change, and I hate change. But there's no doubt that digital things are going to be bigger and bigger. All right, you had more in your comment here. Let's see.
So, I don't think people quite realize in general just how risky it is having digital assets held by one place too. Been a few already of the digital studios who have gone under and thankfully allowed people to transfer the assets they already had to another video content holder.
Yeah, those are good points too. People should be careful going all in on, man, I'm just going to do digital cards from now on, blah, blah, blah. Always be able to access these things. We don't know. Are these NFT companies going to be able to always support their products that they create and all that sort of thing? That is a scary thing about digital. Physical, it's here. Like, physical, unless you lose it or burn it or something like that, you're always going to have it. That's one nice thing about digital or physical. For digital, you could lose your computer, lose your hard drive. Then what happens to your digital card collection? I know. Here's a good example. Pictures. Growing up and up, even years of being an adult, you were able to take pictures and get the film developed, and you had pictures, physical pictures. And now everything is using your camera phone, taking digital pictures, so on and so forth. And my daughter, she was actually smart enough to go take her drive or her phone with all her pictures on it, and go make physical copies of those pictures that she wanted. Where I didn't even think of doing something like that, but at least she still has those pictures. There's a lot of times, like, I've had old computers where I put digital pictures on, and guess what? Those pictures are long gone because I can't access that hard drive anymore. Something happens to your computer, all that's gone. Is that something that the NFTs are susceptible to? I know there's people that have lost crypto coins, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, because they forgot their password to access their Bitcoins that they have stored on a thumb drive. Very weird. Again, we just got to see how things pan out. And there's more to this comment still. Let's see.
Think also if suddenly Steam went under or went out of operation, all those games you had purchased and would lose access to. Not a pretty thought. Anyway, as always, appreciate your videos.
All right, thank you, Who Dat Dog. Yeah, that's kind of going on again with that. What if you lose access to those things? Then you have nothing. At least if you lose internet, lose your computer or something, you still have your card collection as if they're physical cards. Digital. Is there a way to back those up somehow? I just don't know. Very interesting. But I will say, Topps is selling, I think I brought this out on Hobby Talk. Topps is selling NFT digital packs of Topps Inception cards. They are going on sale today, or they're going on sale Thursday. So they've already been on sale. So I might have to go see if there's any left. I just want to buy a cheap pack and just see how it works. Not saying I'm going to quit collecting physical cards, blah blah blah. I just want to see how the whole system works, and I think they're like $12 for a pack. So if they have any left, I'll see if I can go grab one and just see, just to understand the system better instead of me just talking like I don't really know what I'm talking about. Anyway, awesome comment there. All right, I think we have one last comment, which I definitely wanted to save for last.
Mark Griffiths writes, "Stop scaremongering."
All right, thank you for that comment, Mark. I actually don't think I'm doing that, scaremongering. Um, I Okay, we're back. That was weird. Everything just stopped. Anyway, after this little brief intermission, we were talking about Mark Griffith's comment. He said, "Stop scaremongering," and I just wanted to address that one last on this video. I don't I don't feel like I'm scaremongering. I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing um, or a scary thing because you look at other hobbies. Now this is just hobby talk. This is just speculation. We like just talking about things that are in the subject. This is not something that's guaranteed to happen or anything. It's just a thought that I was having. So if they quit making cards, collectible cards, like if it's everything goes digital, and we don't have physical cards anymore. You look at other forms, okay, like video games, for instance. Um, Video games are extremely collectible, even though they don't really make physical video games that much anymore. It's always just digital codes and stuff that you download content for your video games. But the hobby of video game collecting has never been hotter. You look at comic books. Now, I'm not real up on comic book. If like if you go to a comic book store, are you able to buy comic books like you were, 20 years ago? Are comic books starting to be more digital? Because I mean, they are kind of like little magazines, but you know, even so, comic book collecting is like red hot right now, especially graded stuff. People are loving collecting comic books. So just because they might possibly not make physical cards in the future doesn't mean that the ones that they have made aren't going to be very collectible. A lot of times it makes the those collectible hobbies even more collectible because they're more vintagey. Anyway, um, and I'm not delighting in bringing fear to the market. This is such a small channel, guys. You guys are probably the only ones that seen this video, the people that commented on here. So it's just a hobby discussion. I'm glad we can have these. They're a lot of fun, and I love the hobby. I hope Tops and Fanatics get together. I hope Fanatics buys Tops so that we keep on having our years of heritage and Allen Ginter and all those great sets that Tops puts out. If they don't, man, I don't know. I'm just scared to see what a company that doesn't make sports cards decides to do when that to make a physical card when that's not what they do. When they're much more familiar with doing digital NFT type stuff. Anyway, it's going to be very interesting. So I guess that's it. Thank you for all the comments, and thank you for watching the videos and subscribing, all that type of stuff. And we'll talk.
Hey Sandy Frank.
What?
Computers are going to take over the world soon. We will have our own digital cards and digital card collectors and not need your world now that we have your electricity and diagnostic software. Plus.
Okay.
Now we will be grading your cards too, so no more PSA 10s for you homesickle. Thank you, Al Gore, for inventing the internet robart out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Robart. So everybody have a good weekend. Stay positive. I'm sorry if this hobby talk seemed a little more negative. I think it's cool. We're getting to see a golden new age of card collecting, that's for sure. So have fun watching it, how it develops. And yeah, there's going to be people collecting cards for many years because we have all these great cards to collect. And not everybody's going to go from collecting cards to collecting NFTs. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll see what we talk about next week on Hobby Talk. This was a lot of fun. Later.